John Carpenter's The Thing, hailed by many as an unparalleled classic in claustrophobic body horror, lauded for its intensity, graphic effects, and ambiguous down-note ending. Now, for the first time, we bring you the original ending as it was originally shot. MacReady and Childs have a quiet face-off at the end of the world. Who's the human? Who's the alien? We're about to find out.
Looks like you made it out.
Well, looks like we both did. How are you, Childs?
A little cold. How about yourself? No generators. The fires are going out. It'll be freezing cold out here pretty soon. We won't survive the night.
No. What do you think we should do?
Guess we'll just have to sit here and wait it out.
I'm cool with that.
That's what humans do. You know, when they've got to try to figure something out, they'll just sit down a lot of times in a frozen area where there's fires all around, because that's normal, because that's what we humans are doing, so.
What?
Nothing. I'm just saying, like, you know,
That was weird.
we're the only survivors, right? Obviously.
That's right.
So we're just going to sit here and do human things such as talk to each other. And
Why do you keep saying human?
Well, because, I mean, I know I am.
Okay.
Hopefully you are, right? I mean, who knows?
Maybe.
I don't know.
That's very interesting. You said that it's been driving me crazy. I've been noticing. Are you breathing?
What? Come on, this is crazy, man. Breathing.
Child.
What is breathing? Respirating.
That's
Bringing
right.
oxygen in and out of a body in order to help clean its blood. That's insane. I mean,
You're
know.
talking in third person now.
No,
Seems
man.
like.
We're sitting here, a couple of dudes
Right.
that are human males that look like human males and talk like them.
Childs,
And that's what we're doing. I'm wearing clothes.
Childs, it's not you.
This is so. You're really just kind of riding me here, man. It's just I'm feeling a little self-conscious. I don't know why
we were
you're
just
attacking
curious.
me.
Well, earlier, you were running away. We lost you there for half an hour, and here you are.
I mean,
where'd you go?
What really is a half an hour at the end of the day? Because however time is marked on a planet such as this is something that, if somebody were to tell me like a half an hour was, say, this long, then at that point I would know a little bit better what half an hour
Well,
would
half
be.
an hour is 30 minutes. There's 60 minutes in an hour. Childs.
Okay, that's okay.
You're
So that makes a little
clearly-
more sense.
You're the thing.
What?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
No, you are.
You're the thing.
Well, you're not even trying
Come
at
on.
this point.
That's okay.
If you're some, being from another planet, you're doing a real bad job of pulling off this human thing.
Oh,
First off, don't talk about yourself as a human male.
why can't I? I mean, what do you?
You
what
don't
would
even
you
have to bring
expect?
that up. You don't even
Look,
have to.
all I know is that all of this moving my jaw and pushing air through it
See,
to
like
make
that
sure
right there,
that I
that what you're doing
communicate
right
with
there.
you is, it's tiring me out, and I'm getting a little dehydrated, I believe is the word.
Childs,
and I'm going
listen.
to. There's this red can.
Nope.
And I'm going to drink out
Don't
of it.
touch it. Childs. That's
So
kerosene.
good. What?
Humans don't drink kerosene. You
Oh.
just drank straight kerosene, okay? And it's going to make my job easier because now I'm going to burn you.
Well, I guess you'll have to. I mean,
Previously on Riders of the Apocalypse.
Absolutely.
so we're talking about Christopher Guest.
Yep.
We're talking about several other people, like Eugene Levy, Second City people,
Yes.
and also
I know
Matthew
the
Perry
movie.
from Friends,
I think I know
and
the movie. Oh my God! Of course I know the movie. Almost Heroes.
fantastic
The movie
with Chris
that
Farley. His
I
last
don't know
movie.
how many. I know.
Wow.
He had. Yeah. God, I wish he was still here. But I got to see that in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
wonderful scene.
Yeah, that's one of those. It's one of the many films we'll probably talk about where it just doesn't get enough love or something like that. I don't know. Maybe just because there's nostalgia there for.
I don't think it gets
watching
enough love.
it at a certain time or something.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, it came and went. And it's really weird.
I think for Farley fans, really, I can speak for me. Maybe you. It's that last time you get to see him in a film, so I think it makes it a little more something.
It's better than Black Sheep.
Oh, okay. Now
Is
that's
that a spicy
something to
take?
talk about. Next time.
All right, my name is Brian, and you're listening to Riders of the Apocalypse. Across the table from me is...
I'm here again. It's Jason. You can't shake me. You can't get rid of me that soon.
It's going to take more than that.
Brian, I wanted to bring in or kind of welcome the winter, the coming darkness.
Yes.
And so we did so with a bang. We just watched what is now considered a modern sci-fi classic. Was not well received apparently at the box office. It didn't make. There was a lot of money put into it. It didn't make as much at the box office that they thought. But The Thing, 1982.
Right. John Carpenter's The Thing, 1982. I don't know. How would you classify it? Like, what kind of horror would it be?
Claustrophobic.
Like, claustrophobic?
Horror. Claustrophobic, body horror, clearly.
Yeah, there's a lot of shots in this, a lot of effect shots in this movie. Yeah, so the John Carpenter's The Thing came out, but it was up against Blade Runner and E.T.
Yeah, E.T. apparently had come out a few weeks prior.
Oh, boy.
And it's just interesting that I don't know why they would compete, but I guess they're both aliens, you know. So this is just, I just read that some of the producers of The Thing, they were just, I guess, trying to blame the bad reactions to the film. And so hey, everybody's all about E.T. and it's just like, family friendly movie, and this alien is not an evil thing.
Right.
And I guess when you go the opposite direction with The Thing, and then it doesn't have that standard ending where your hero is standing there at the end on the mountain, right, or flying away in the helicopter,
or putting his arm around the girl and walking off,
or she putting her arm around the guy,
right.
But I think the ending and the fact that it was so gory, I don't know how people couldn't walk out of that theater liking it, but they did apparently, and the critics were slamming it, and you know what? Fuck critics anyways, because they still slam movies that are going to be classics in the long run anyways. I never... A lot of times what I'll do is I'll read a critic's review, and then I'll go to the movies that they don't like. Because usually those are the ones that I like. Sure.
Yeah. There's always some kind of agenda. That they're trying to. I don't know. It's weird, especially these days. The kind of the critical consensus of several movies. It never seems to match up with what the audience is really kind of driving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, if any of those scores these days on any of the meta score sites such as Metacritic or Rotten Tomatoes, like there seems to be a lot of difference between critic score and an audience score.
Yeah,
so I don't know what that's about.
And I think that there's always been some of that.
Yeah.
Because critics are over analyzing it, and they're trying to dig deep on stuff where, look, The Thing I still feel like has a lot of really good philosophical ideas in there.
Right.
They mentioned some kind of classic like sci-fi, like the chariots to the gods or whatever.
Right.
That's
he makes an absolute
classic
reference
like
to
60s sci-fi novel.
Eric von Daniken.
There you go.
Wrote
Awesome.
Chariots of the Gods, and it was about his. He was talking about his then fringe, belief, and more people have caught on to the idea
Yes.
that ancient man was altered. Our course was altered historically by being visited from aliens. Being visited by aliens from outer space that influence technology and stuff like that. So,
Well, they
that
clearly
was
helped
definitely-
out with the pyramids. I mean, that's what happened.
Let's just be honest.
Because
Can we
those
all
things
agree?
could not be built by a bunch of a bunch of people being whipped into moving those stones. Right.
Okay, and that music fading out means that we are rolling and we are live, and you are listening to the first episode of CarpenterCast with yours truly, John Carpenter, where I'm finally stepping to the forefront and I'm not silent anymore, and I'm going to talk about my movies and clap back at the haters. Not that reviews bother me, but sometimes, people don't know what they're talking about when it comes to movies. But
John? John, are you down there in the basement again?
Yeah, honey, I'm just working on something. I'll be up in a minute.
Okay, well, don't be too long.
I won't. Okay. Well, hey, warts and all, we're just gonna plow through, and you know what they say in all the podcasting subreddits. You just gotta push it through with content, and just you get better as it goes. And so once I figured out the editing software, I can cut some of that out. But until that happens, I just couldn't help but... the reason I'm doing this is I couldn't help but look at some reviews online lately when it comes to some of my films. And, when The Thing first came out, for example.
Hey, John, I was thinking of putting a roast beef on.
That's fine, honey. We're... Okay.
Well, either that or the corned beef hash, because I had both.
Either one. It's fine. I'm doing a thing. I'm recording the podcast.
Oh, yeah, sure. Just go ahead and do your thing, honey. I'll go ahead and get this fixed up.
Okay. Where was I? The Thing, right. Okay. So when The Thing came out, we had worked really hard on it, and there's a lot of really professional people that, really, poured sweat, blood, and tears into that project, and it was amazing. And it comes out, and a goddamn little alien that eats Reese's Pieces just shit all over my dream. And America said, sure, why not? Let's help you. And the rest of America just started taking down their pants and just shitting all over my dream.
Hey,
so
John? John?
Oh, yeah?
John, I noticed your blood pressure medicine's up here. The bottle's empty. Are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm just, honey, I'm recording that. Remember that thing I told you about? I'm doing that now. So if you could not.
That rod last. It's called a rod last?
No, it's not, but.
Well,
okay.
I just worried, when you're down there on that World Wide Web, your blood pressure skyrockets, and you know what the Dr. Jennings has said.
Dr. Jennings doesn't know his ass from... Okay, honey, I'll be up in a minute. Okay.
Okay, love ya. I've got that pot roasting.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Okay. Where was I? Yeah, so, right. So back when America just decided to get together and just stomp all over my dreams. So we'll take a break here, and when we come back to CarpenterCast, I'll, just finish talking about The Thing. And, by the way, Wilford Brimley, bit of an asshole. Stay tuned. Outside of the practical effects, what really makes the film effective, do you think? Why, when you're watching it, you're really just, it really keeps you moving, because
moves.
they have to figure out what's going on and, who's who, and there's so many layers to it.
It's got a very brisk pace to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because from the very beginning, when they're shooting at the dog, the Norwegians, scientists are shooting at that dog, know that's desperation, and
right.
It just starts right away. And I think the pacing's incredible, and they stretch out the different effects scenes, the alien effects scenes enough to where even to the very end, you get a lot of good, scenes of the alien doing whatever it's doing, transforming. But I think the underlying arc of this movie is that, it's just a claustrophobic thing. I mean, they're in another world.
Yeah.
And so they're in, I know it was filmed in Alaska, some of it, but, and then the rest in a soundstage in LA, but they're supposed to be in Antarctica at a research base.
Yeah.
Right. And just that location is perfect for what happens to them, because they are trapped due to weather. The circumstances outside of their environment and the buildings is uninhabitable. So that is horrifying in itself, dude, because it's like being in a submarine, or it's like being in space.
Yeah.
You can't just run out the front door and run away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it solves that problem of like what keeps them in the house, like any like haunted house movie or anything like that. It's like, how do you keep them in the house? You from just driving away or something?
And it's just like the Night of the Living Dead, that original kind of idea where they can't go outside anymore,
right?
Because all the dead are out there. So it's another claustrophobic an example of that. But
yeah.
And that blood, when they do the blood test, everybody remembers that. I think and that apparently is one of the scenes that was told or shown to Carpenter, and he was sold on the film after that. Like, the idea was brought to him about the blood test, and that's what sealed the deal for him. That's what made him, okay, I'm doing this now. So that's cool.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's got to be the claustrophobicness, and who can you trust is thrown on top of that. You can't, no longer, when you're living in those circumstances, you have to trust everyone there.
Right.
Even when under normal circumstances. Yeah. Everyone has to trust everyone. There's guns everywhere, knives. You've got people losing their mind.
Panicking.
Because of claustrophobic.
Right.
And panic.
Yeah.
And being up there too long. So that environment's just very scary already. But you have to trust everybody, so they lose their trust. Everyone loses their trust. You don't even, at one point, even rewatching it, I felt like, gosh, it almost makes, you don't really feel that great about Kurt Russell's character after a while. Yeah, after a while, you're not even trusting him at some point. They did a good job, in my opinion, of making it, even though he is the hero in the end, I guess, so to speak, he's not really your typical gonna be good all the way through. He's ready to kill everyone and survive himself. So I liked that humanizing aspect of him. He wasn't just good and completely pure. He was a flawed, drinking. Clearly he was drinking all the time, and I love that aspect of it.
Yeah. Right. They're all just guys that are there to do their jobs, and they're thrust into this insane situation over the course of like 2 days, where it's just kind of nonstop. And at one point, one character even says, I haven't slept in 2 days. Like, we need to. Yeah.
That was Mac. That was Russell saying that. I remember. Right?
Yeah. So, and so they just have to survive, and you just. Right, when you don't know who you can trust. And the MacReady character definitely, you do have questions about him, because there are times you don't see where he is.
Yeah.
And it's like, are red herrings being planted? You know what I mean? Because they found his drawers that were torn up. So the thing must have done that. You know what I mean?
When you see Kurt Russell playing around with somebody's dirty undies, it's just, in my mind, that's disgusting. Put those down, put them, don't even touch them.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, he's spending a lot of time with them. Just really being thoughtful and trying to think about whose underwear and why, and they look like they were dirty. So
yeah, they were filthy.
If it was just mud, or
they were
what was
torn
going on there.
and everything.
Yeah, and he just kind of kept handling them, and
mud and crud and blood on them
while he was tape recording that message.
Yeah,
so he could leave something for posterity.
Drinking his scotch and playing with dirty undies. I just but hey, that's what they did, and
yeah. So it's like there's been a lot of speculation about what, leaving the torn underwear behind in order to kind of start suspicion. Like is the thing actually playing this kind of 4D chess where it's like it's playing with people's perceptions and stuff like that. And,
okay.
At one point the blood that they had stored for medical emergencies was sabotaged.
Yes.
So that's why they had to cut each other and do that test, which is... Okay, and we're back from the break here on the first episode of CarpenterCast by yours truly, John Carpenter, where I'm, keeping it real, and I'm clapping back at the haters because... all these critics and stuff, they don't know what's going on with these movies, and I'm just gonna tell the truth. It's just gonna be me and the truth. And I've got a special treat for you guys. We've got an interview. A good friend of ours is calling in from the film The Thing. I asked Kurt Russell, of course. Took him a couple days to get back to me. Then he said he was kind of busy. I don't really know if that's true. I thought we were friends, but I guess he doesn't want to talk on the phone with me for my podcast, which is very important to me. So I guess it's not important to him either, so I guess our friendship isn't important. Okay, so finally, after asking a few different people, I was able to ask Thomas Waits, who played Windows in The Thing that I directed, and he should be calling in now. Let's see. Okay, there it is. And hello.
Hey. John?
Yeah, it's John Carpenter, and you're on CarpenterCast.
Hey, man, how are you, John?
Hey, everybody. Thomas Waits, ladies and gentlemen, who played Windows in one of my favorite films that I've ever done, The Thing, which deserves a lot more critical acclaim than it got. And
John, are you still doing that? You still doing that thing you do? About the thing. You do this thing about the thing. We talk maybe once a year. Is this what you're doing with the podcast?
Well, no, it's just me, just being me. It's just John Carpenter on John Carpenter for the fans and the critics that don't know what they're talking about.
Look, we all know we worked very hard on that film.
We sure did.
We've talked about this. You're bitter. And
I'm not bitter.
I was thinking you'd be over it by now.
Over it?
Yeah.
Over the penultimate achievement in body horror, in claustrophobic horror, in cosmic horror.
John,
this
you
indifferent
don't have to
universe
explain it to me.
sends a being that is a force of nature, and there's nothing we can do to stop it, and everybody went to go see fucking E.T.? No,
John,
I'm not bitter at all.
John, come on. Listen, last time we sat down, we went through this. Did you go see the therapist I recommended?
Look, I don't want to talk about that right now. All I want to talk about is just being friends and, just talking about movies, and you're here, and so what do you got going on? Let's enough about me. What's Thomas Waits going on? Are you still in New York?
Yeah. I'm the acting studio's been very well, running very well. And it's, I've done some stuff on Broadway, some TV work. I mean, life's good.
Okay. That's good.
I've let go of the thing a long time ago. And John, you need to let go. Your wife actually was talking to Sandy, a friend of ours. Oh. She's worried about your blood pressure.
Are you serious? I can't believe this. I can't get away from this.
We're all concerned. Oh, John, we're concerned.
I'm concerned too. You know what I'm concerned about? I'm concerned about what America thinks are good movies. That's
John,
all I know.
You're generalizing a whole country here.
Look.
But anyways, So we're going to go over this, but we don't need to talk about this in front of the fans, which you have many fans. You realize that movie now is a cult classic, John.
Yeah.
All your movies, you're legendary.
Look.
I've still got people coming. I did the circuit a couple of years back. I did the tattoo horror convention circuit.
Oh, Jesus
And-
Christ.
John, you've got to start coming on these trips with me. If you would just sit in the booth with me for a few minutes a day, these kids love you. You know, I keep getting them. Can you clear something up for me? I
What's
still
that?
get the question.
Okay.
You named my character Windows.
Right.
Okay. And
Yeah.
of course, it's probably about the glasses and stuff that I wore. But
Yeah.
these kids, they're digging deep. You know, you named the main star. Kurt is Mac, basically. MacReady.
Okay.
You got Mac and Windows here, and
I don't
you
understand
clear
where
it
you're
up.
going.
Well, it was. Were you drawing on anything there? I mean, because now we've got this. It's all about Mac and Windows nowadays. Kids have got their Apple phones or iPhones, and then we've got the droids and everything else. And Windows 10 is just Is there a connection,
I want to kill myself.
John? Yeah.
As you were telling me earlier, you said that he has stated that it was, his favorite film, right? Like,
Yeah.
it was like, at the time, it was like, this is my masterpiece. I've done it.
Yeah, he was apparently so disappointed with.
Yeah.
He was probably heartbroken. That was a lot of work.
Yeah. So the
And
critics
just-
kind of, we've talked about the E.T. thing. E.T. kind of left it in the dust because America was just kind of on that tip. And
Yeah.
the critics, weren't really in love with it. I think Blade Runner got some of that same flack too.
And the only reason with the critics, it seems like they were. It's weird. They were watching it and only. I think because the effects and the gore were so. Over the top and even for the time.
Yeah.
Because this is the heyday of gore, but this is very over the top. I think that being that Carpenter did Halloween, he's a horror movie guy.
Yeah.
And the critics aren't going to take someone like that serious anyways.
Yeah.
And then when he puts this out and they see the gore, they're like, oh, this is just a slaughter fest. And it's just eye candy, and there's nothing to this. They probably look over or brush over the very interesting story that's going on there.
Right.
And I think they did. Yeah. And it's unfortunate because, and I think the movie only box office worldwide only made like 5 million, maybe less.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it really disappointed Carpenter. I love that it's a cult classic now. I think that it's kind of gained its notoriety.
Yeah.
But could you imagine releasing that as a director? That's one of the most expensive movies of the time. A horror movie, if you're talking that in that term. Halloween, the budget was under $400,000.
Okay.
It was like 37 or 375,000 maybe for Halloween.
Right.
Friday the 13th Part 1, I think, was 1980. That budget was still. It was still under $1 million. It was, I think, maybe even just 600,000 for Friday the 13th.
Wow.
This movie was it 215 million or something? It was a big budget.
What, the thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was made for like 15 million or something.
Was it 15 million?
I think
okay,
so.
it was. Excuse me. It was 15 million, and then it made.
Which in today's dollars, who knows? I'm
Yeah.
not sure how much that is.
And
but,
it made just under 20 million.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they just basically made their money back, and that was that. Kind of.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure they made money since then, though. Certainly.
Oh God, I
You know,
hope
in
so. That's
different
always an
editions and
interesting
things, like-
question. Yeah.
Yeah.
How does the royalties over time pay off and stuff? And there was a lot of.
Yeah.
I know there was action figures and stuff for the Thing, that movie.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
Holy
for
shit.
sure. I remember there being, an action figure for Mac. For Kurt Russell.
Oh man, made by Mego.
And my goodness, I mean, that made me think of, for whatever reason, I just thought of Big Trouble in Little China. Mm-hmm. Another Kurt Russell, just beauty.
John Carpenter.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing, Brian, that I did not know until the end of this movie and watching it.
Okay.
And I did kind of cheat a little bit. I read some of the trivia. If you watch the end, the two guys sitting there with the fires around them.
Yeah.
And they're, is it Clark that comes up? Is it Is that the character's name?
It's MacReady and Childs.
Childs. Yeah. Childs comes up, and we don't know where he is gone. You know, they saw him run away earlier.
Yeah.
And he comes back and sits down with MacReady.
Yeah, and they've got fires are all around them, but the fires are dying. It's like the light's going low now.
It definitely seems like kind of the end of the world, though.
Yeah,
for them.
Yeah,
and I know that MacReady is. You basically just assume that he's ready to die. You know, he's
right.
We'll see what happens. You know, like if you look at the breath coming out of Kurt Russell, it's very prominent. Yeah. You can see every breath come out. It's a lot of mist and then they show Childs and there's no breath coming out. So this is one thing I guess Carpenter said.
Yeah.
Later in the I think it was early 2000s. He's quoted as saying that I don't think there's any ambiguity in this ending.
Yeah.
It's clearly Childs is not breathing.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, okay, there's the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
I mean,
it doesn't take much more speculation than that. And you can go on YouTube, and there's a lot of speculation that people will go back and forth. And they have an opinion about a theory about the bottle. And that they're passing and what's in it.
Oh, yeah. When he does pass him at the very end, he passes him the bottle of scotch.
Right. And because they built Molotov cocktails or something, they'd use kerosene to just they were trying to burn everything down.
That's right.
So, some people had posited that maybe there was kerosene in that, and he passed it to him, and Childs took a drink, and like nothing had happened.
So did MacReady not, I can't remember, did he not drink from it? He just handed it to him?
Yeah, I don't remember, or he may have, that's a headcanon kind of thing. I think some people were like, I think that's what's going on. Yeah. And that's how he knows he's the thing. But I love the fact that Carpenter actually did answer that, because that's rare. Directors don't normally do that.
Oh, yeah, they're like, leave it up to, it's your own interpretation, man. It's art.
You're absolutely right. It would be a huge kind of like a filming continuity error to have Kurt Russell breathing out vapor, steam, because it's cold as shit outside.
It's what, negative 100 or
and Childs is right next to him, and he's not.
Yeah.
So it's So we'll
you
just see what happens.
You see a little bit of breath coming out of Childs if you notice when he's still standing up. It's a very but it's almost like they may have tried to take that out if he was breathing and it was cold. Some of the studio shots that they were doing in LA, the soundstage or whatever, they dropped the temperature in that area down to 40 degrees. And it was like I think it was in the summer or something, but it was 90 to 100 degrees outside. And they dropped it down to 40 in there. So I think to try to get maybe some of the breath to show. And then I think another thing is they were puffing on cigarettes to make that breath too. That was... Kurt Russell's noted as saying that he would, to get a drastic effect, take a puff off a cigarette and
then just kind of let it come out while he's talking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
So they were doing something with the breath there at the end.
So that was that's cool, man. I like hearing definitive stuff like that, and it still doesn't even. It does that wonderful thing of saying, okay, this is what it's come down to. It literally is just now finally the final human left and the final thing left. And they're going to freeze. Yeah. So the thing's probably going to... But you don't know what happens after that. You don't know if he just sets them on fire. We don't know.
Yeah, because he would still have some flares, right?
Yeah, probably. So it's just...
You don't know if... Yeah, you don't know if MacReady... If the thing starts kind of coming at him, and he burns him up, and then maybe he catches a flight from a rescue copter that sees all the fires. Yeah. Maybe, and like you mentioned too, wouldn't there, if they've lost communication with a base like that over a few days, wouldn't you think someone would be out there? There
would have to be some sort of welfare radio check that would take place probably at least at midnight each night or every 2 nights or something, or in the morning like we're still here.
And there are camps now that are studying in those areas. There are apparently there's a tradition with some Norwegian, I guess, camps that are doing this scientific research in the Antarctic, I guess. Yeah. They watch the movie once a year or something. They say, it's like there's like some kind of tradition. You never know what you're reading is real or not. But a fun fact that I don't know, I can't prove or disprove.
Sure.
But it's still a fun fact.
Okay.
Or a
I think I
fun
may have heard that, actually.
rumor.
That'd be
Yeah.
a lot of fun, like if you
Oh,
were in
hell,
that kind
yeah.
of job to, just watch that during...
And what if you weren't used to horror movies and you were kind of like the new guy and you're
What are
like,
you watching, guys?
Yeah, what are you watching? Oh, you got a real treat for this. And then the kids like can't sleep for 2 days. Just that could happen, man.
And then just as a joke, one of them leaves shredded underwear in the bathroom or something.
Shit. Someone just dirties up. I don't want to get too, but that underwear stuff just from the beginning, I couldn't.
Right.
Everybody's playing with the underwear.
The cook
brings it in. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't want this in my kitchen.
It's gross.
It's germs. He even says, like, I don't need this. I need it sanitary in there.
Yeah.
And he throws the dirty undies, is what they are, the whites, onto like a pinball machine. And then everybody kind of comes over and just at least 2 people are handling it.
And then MacReady later, after some of the first stuff has happened, he's in his cabin alone. And he's got the tape recorder.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of stroking it,
He's
just sort of handling it, and looking
very,
at it.
It's just never, I couldn't get, I never got quite past that.
Right.
But hey.
Yeah. He's really trying to figure it out and get to the bottom of him.
Oh, man. But yeah, it was kind of cool to read that little tidbit about the breath. And that Carpenter confirmed it. Good movie. The Thing.
That is
1982 classic.
Yeah, it's definitely a classic. Definitely a late night movie for sure. If you ever get a chance to see it on the big screen, like in an independent film house in your area, then please do it. Sometimes they do for like Halloween.
Yeah.
It'll be that movie or, Halloween, the movie. Around that time of year.
Another Carpenter.
But, yeah. So, yeah.
Well, this was
I
kind
give
of
it 5 Shemblacks.
I love the rating system. Well, this is a great way to bring in November. Mm-hmm. And it's getting much colder here.
Yes.
So, yeah, let's
you might get
dive
snowed in,
right
get a
in.
little claustrophobic.
So just listen, just snuggle up with the loved one, light the fire and turn on Riders of the Apocalypse and just join us and have a nice evening.
Riders of the Apocalypse is recorded at In Control Studios, which is a mobile podcasting lab based in Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you very much for listening. If you've subscribed via Apple Podcasts, please do the show a favor and give us a rating and a review. It really helps. Again, thank you for listening. Have a great night.